All right, next in slip 411, guys, we are dealing with trying to write and graph inequalities to represent real-world situations. So we've got a little situation up here. We'll read through and try and graph the situation. Many trainers believe one should exercise for more than 30 minutes, but less than 60 minutes each session. That's the recommended time frame to exercise. So to define a variable, what is it that we are trying to figure out here, and what's the situation? What are we talking about here? And in this case, we're talking about all that time that they're exercising. So I'm going to call it T and say T equals time exercising, because that's what we're talking about here. Okay, it's what they're recommending, how much time. So we'll call T equals time exercising, and we want to represent this statement with inequalities. All right, so how much time do they recommend that we exercise? Well, they say more than 30 minutes. So you can say T, or your time exercising, has to be greater than 30. I'm going to use a comma here to separate. But at the same time, that time exercising has to be less than 60 minutes is what they recommend. It's got to be less than 60. Notice it doesn't say exactly 60 or exactly 30, so I did not put greater than or equal to here. It's more than 30, so we don't want to include 30, so that's why T is greater than 30 and not equal to it. It looks like this got a little bit in the camera light here, so I'll move it over. T has to be less than 60 there. You can see it a little bit better. Those are two the inequalities that would represent this. Now, some of you guys, we talked a little bit about compound inequalities, combining this, and we could say at the same time put T in the middle. T has to be greater than 30 but less than 60. All right, so if you have it written like this represents both of these at the same time. You can put that T in the middle and say, okay, T, or the time exercising, has to be greater than 30, but at the same time, it's less than 60. Okay, again, this is not required that you write it in this way yet. We should be able to get it into two separate ones, though, as that is our goal here. So to graph that solution set, we need to show all the time between 30 and 60 minutes. So again, it's not exactly equal to 30 or 60, so I'm going to use an open circle on 30 and an open circle on 60, and I'm going to shade everything in between there because they're supposed to go greater than 30 but less than 60. So they could go 40, they could go 42 minutes, 44 minutes, anything in there. It can be fractional or decimals too. It could be 40.5 minutes, which obviously would fall in here. Anything in that time frame is the recommended time that you should exercise if you're going to exercise. So make sure you got these written down, and this is one example of a real life situation that is an inequality and how we could graph that and show all of the answers.